Stellar Blade is exceeding many expectations across the board, and some information came out on the stats from Shift Up. Grums on X says Stellar Blade was played more than any other Sony PC release. Great job. And quote tweeted Zuby, who says, according to Shift Up, Stellar Blade is the most successful PC launch than any other PlayStation IP on PC. Sales of Stellar Blade were more than Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and The Last of Us. Now, not combined, but individually. Although you could combine a few of them and it would still be more. That's insane. This is from Shift Up. One of the most successful PC launches in AAA single package IP history. Best-selling PlayStation exclusive launch IP in history. Peak concurrent users on Steam approaching 200,000 players. Second best, rightfully so, Ghost of Tsushima. I just wish this was higher because this game deserves it. I like Ghost of Tsushima better than Stellar Blade. I love Stellar Blade, don't get me wrong, but Ghost of Tsushima is just next level. That's why I took it so personally with Yote. I'll be honest. God of War, there's Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and ironically, Last of Us lagging well behind everything else. And that might be because it was already re-released like 500 times on PlayStation consoles previously, and then comes out on PC for full price. Like, yeah. Key metrics of the PC version: fastest selling domestic game on Steam, surpassing 1 million copies within 3 days of launch, which is insane. Total cumulative sales across all platforms, PS5 and PC, exceeded 3 million copies for the main game. I got to be honest, it should be way more than that. It really should be. I would almost argue the Journal Mafia that downplayed this game when it came out as much as they could, tried to subdue the brand, the popularity, because it was just attractive female protagonists. Can't have that in a game. Can't have that. Overwhelmingly positive user reviews on Steam, recommended by over 98% of users. And I would absolutely recommend it as well. MBG says, Shift Up says Stellar Blade is the best-selling PlayStation single-player exclusive on PC. They also revealed total sales have surpassed 3 million across PS5 and PC, which again, I would have thought it'd be at like 5 or 6 million at this point. I'm shocked it's only 3 million. Shocked. And the post from Insider Gaming, Stellar Blade is the best-selling PlayStation exclusive launch IP in the history for PC. Executioner says, well, would you look at that? Sex sells. Who knew? Every new update on Stellar Blade seems to suggest that the game has defied all expectations. Now it's understood that Stellar Blade has beaten out Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, and others to be the best-selling PlayStation exclusive on PC. Stellar Blade's sequel is confirmed to be in development, and the bombshell was dropped that Stellar Blade is going multi-platform. The original game was a success on launch and continues to escalate in terms of popularity and sales. And regarding the multi-platform, Stellar Blade 2 is going multi-platform. According to a new recruitment post, Shift Up is planning to make it for multi-platform. It may hint it's coming to Xbox and Nintendo. Hopefully, potentially, day one. Stellar Blade destroys other PlayStation exclusives on PC. Stellar Blade developer Shift Up showed off an impressive chart showing the biggest PlayStation exclusives that have received PC port, which we went through all these numbers already. This is Genki saying Shift Up released a chart showing Stellar Blade is the best-selling PlayStation exclusive single-player PC launch in history. 192,000 peak concurrent players on Steam over launch, over 2.5 times more than the previous record. And for people that don't keep up with the concurrent player counts on Steam, it means a tremendous amount. And if you can get over 30 or 40,000 concurrently, you most likely, depending on how much you spent on the game making it, have a hit on your hands. The game's appeal continues to grow as Stellar Blade X Silent Hill F crossover was teased, and owners have new content to play, including 3 new epilogues. And those 3 new epilogues, which we covered in a previous video, Stellar Blade receives 3 new epilogues with the latest update. According to the X post, Stellar Blade's September 30th update will introduce 3 new epilogues, which reveal the lives of Eve and the people of Zion after a specific ending. The new content is now available for PS5 and PC players. Genki Onyx, Stellar Blade development team at Shift Up is now at 101 employees. They're currently doing a mass recruitment drive to add more staff members, and I can't wait to see what they're cooking up for this Stellar Blade sequel. It sounds to me, by the way, that they're not going to just like throw this together and have like a asset flip for Stellar Blade 2. I'm hopeful that it's not going to be as much as I love the first one. Feels like the vast majority of the game took place in a desert. I'm like, I don't mind the desert area, and I understand it's going to be wide open and stuff like that, but I would prefer a little bit more variety in the world, and I think that they're going to be doing full on with that. Yankee saying, Shift Up announced the start of large-scale recruitment for the development of the Stellar Blade sequel. New job listings suggest console and PC multi-platform development using Unreal Engine 5, and this is from their website. The next installment of Stellar Blade, currently under development at Shift Up, is a AAA multi-platform action game that expands the world of global hit Stellar Blade, aiming for release on various platforms, including consoles and PC. The game will inherit the stylish action and narrative-driven world of its predecessor, while delivering an evolved action gameplay experience. I do wonder if they're going to keep it a single player experience or have like a co-op optional, because there were hints that they could theoretically do something like that. Well, that would be interesting to say the least. On the Steam DB, 192,000 all-time concurrent. And even now, we're talking, what's this? When it came out in June, still has concurrent player count almost 5,000. And we're at 9 o'clock Pacific time PM with a 24-hour peak of almost 8,000. You're getting between 8,000 and 15,000 concurrent players still 6 months after release. That is incredible and well-deserved. Like I said, one of my favorite games I've played in a very long time. And I think that this game, if done right, I think the sequel could vastly outperform the original one, which I know Colin Moriarty might disagree with me on this, but when a studio makes a sequel, that's typically what they set out for, and they expect it to outperform the first one. And I'd like to think that Stellar Blade 2 is going to do gangbusters when it launches. Could you imagine if the Stellar Blade series turned into an anthology and changed the main protagonist to like a dude, and it's just like a normal looking dude? Could you imagine the gaming community? They'd be like, what the? We don't play this. The reason people were drawn into the world was because of, in this case, the attractiveness of Eve. It's like, oh, that's curious. The main protagonist is smoking hot. I want to play that game. And then they play it and they're like, oh, snap. It's actually a really good game, too, to boot. That's actually shocking because rarely do those things come together. And what they did with Ghost of Tsushima, people fell in love with the character of Jin and then switched it to some random other person that no one gave a shit about, when that dude was literally becoming an icon for Sony. Why would they do that? I still, to this day, I will never get over that. I'm still, if you can't tell, I'm still very frustrated about that. But could you imagine if Shift Up did that with this? I mean, they're obviously not going to, but that's how ridiculous it was with Ghost of Tsushima to Ghost of Yotei. That's my point with that whole situation. But yeah, Stellar Blade 2 is currently in development. And yeah, that's going to definitely be a day one game for me. And I know for a fact that game will outperform the original. I know it will. Assuming Eve is still the protagonist. Odin Darkle for the 2. Stellar Blade and Eve are the best. Get wrecked, mainstream media. 100%. Like I said, they did have some influence. I mean, the game got snubbed. It didn't even get acknowledged at the Game Awards when it first launched. Never mind Black Myth Wukong not winning Game of the Year, but Stellar Blade didn't even get nominated. How the fuck did that happen? It's like Hogwarts Legacy all over again. I'm not saying, by the way, Stellar Blade should have won Game of the Year, but sure as shit should have been nominated. It was amazing. We got like Elden Night Ring or whatever, Night Rain, Elden Ring Night Rain DLC that got nominated instead. Like what? I am Mark Smith for the 5-banger. Stellar Blade launched closer to the PS5 version than any of those other games listed. Day and date is coming soon. That's a great point. I didn't even think of that. It's the most recent one and by far the best performing. Kind of shooting theories in the, oh, it's had more time to be out there. It's like, yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter. KN for the P50. Numbers not from Circana? Nope, they're fake. How can we trust the studio? They are not the gold standard. I'll wait for Circana's numbers. Silverbolt like it for the 5-banger. Here's a convo to have about Starblade 2. Eve as MC or no? I feel like she should be main character, or if not, then she should be a cameo into. Oh, she 100% should be the main character. Like 100%. I don't want to play a Starblade game without Eve as the main protagonist. I don't like when games do that. I've been very vocal about Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty with the fucking insertion of Raiden. No, don't do that. Or Halo ODST. No, don't do that. When I buy the game, I want the protagonist as the main character every time. Every time. Now, if you get like to play as Raven for a segment, okay, I'm not opposed to that. Or like I said when I was making the video, if there's like a multiplayer aspect to it and you can select the character, if they do it right, that's a needle you got to thread. But if they do it right, I could see that too. But that's a good question. Good question.